So we've looked a lot, haven't we, at Power Automate and how we can use it to help automate and streamline our reports. But what's it all part of? Why are we bothering? What does it mean? You know, the word's been mentioned, but really, what is it? What is this technical debt? Hi, my name's Ross, the creator and founder of Geordie Consulting and Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching right now. We've covered it a lot in terms of it keeps appearing in videos where we just mention it, oh this, oh that, oh this. Okay, but what exactly is technical debt and why is it something that we should be aware of from an IT perspective? You know, we're building analytics solutions, aren't we? You know, blah, 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 there's the pretty pictures, what's your problem? And right there is the problem. That's the crux of what this modern analytics platform that businesses want now is about. It isn't about delivering one report, doing it once and building something once and then it's done. It's about building something that can have a life cycle that will be developed and that will continue to grow. And once you consider that continue to grow phase, that's then where you get that influx of technical debt, where decisions are taken and you will see over time, oh, that might not be the right decision. So let's go back, let's have a look and see exactly what that means. So just last week, if you remember, we had a look at this in the Power BI service. We had an issue where this data flow wasn't refreshing. This UK food hygiene. It shouldn't be UK, should it? It should be England. It's just England. Again, mistakes I've crept in. But the point was that we have an archive as well. We can see we've got all these ones where the refresh isn't working. The API had changed. But the structure is fundamentally different. We can see the structure is different. If we go and we have a look at our fact events list that we've got here, there are things in here, folder, for example, which is part of technical debt. So we've updated when we had to add the new event that we did a couple of weeks ago. We added Oakley Park. We put in folder because it's a reference, but that's a reference from the previous way we did it, where we had each event had a folder of its own. But the impact of that folder of its own was that when an event was added, a folder had to be created and named and placed in a location. So it's just not efficient. So now we're just using the URL. And from that URL, we're appending what it is. So it's going to be URL. Is this runners or participants, or is it a volunteer? Or is it the event history? So we've got kind of this structured way of building a file name that reduces the complexity of adding new events. So this is a classic example where we've put something in that's going to incur technical debt. We can see things like where this last refresh date, for example, they've disappeared. This was something where we were I had it all trying to run through and trigger refreshes with the GUIDs based on that there's then an automated script for it. And it was so clunky. It was so awkward. So again, it just doesn't work. Whereas having this runs through, does all the great work that we want it to do, this just deals with it. Deals with it all perfectly. Okay. So we can clearly see that we've got some stuff that will work. We've got we see this transition point when we switch from when we brought in County Durham was really where that change was made. So lots of stuff stopped being recorded. We've also got things that have potentially caused problems. And some of them are things I should really go back and look and say, well, actually, should we put that back in so that we can actually make sure we are adding that when we do that update? Because we know it works. And we can see, obviously, we've got the include figure, so we can see where things are that we can, you know, obviously in the middle of a rebuild at the moment. So there's a structural mechanism for it. You know, another one is this junior, which was originally, it was a yes, no, but the way lists store yes, no is it's a yes. There isn't a no. It's a thing. So it's kind of like, ugh. It's not a true Boolean, which is what I was hoping for, like we're a 1 or a 0. So, you know, we've gone with 5K or junior, which is why time or juniors is always going to be include yes, because we're filtering those out as we go through. And at some point, I do want to revisit and say, right, what are we going to do for junior events to bring it through? And there's a whole piece that we'll do. I might put something up on the side there telling you what's going on with that and what the challenges are. But it's clear, isn't it? For cycles and things to evolve, changes need to be made. And the simplicity that we had for this was around, if you remember originally, it started as just a Jasmine Dean solution. We built the report for just Jasmine Dean. And then the thought came, well, you know, should we try and help out Leazes Park? Can we bring in Leazes Park as well? So we did a bit about Leazes Park, which is why it was Folder. So it wasn't this is a bad decision. It was this was just a decision that wasn't a decision, if that makes sense. We had a folder. Oh, I want to do another event. Let's just put another folder in. I didn't even think to say, right, we're going to change the whole structure of the processing, because there's a lot of structural changes that goes through. But by making those changes, it makes it easier to add a future event. It makes it easier to update everything. And this is now becoming much more automated. So it will run through and process what it needs to process. And then once it's finished, it's good to go. So we've clearly got a structure. And that structure is what we have to always be considering. And that's the bit that technical debt is about. Okay. So I could show you technical debt issues that we've got across all of our report packs that we've built. Obviously, this was the Jasmine Dean parkrun one, from where you can see we've got all these individual data flows. If we want to link back to that, it's all been pushed away. So now when we look at our three here, so we go to the data. In the data pool, you'll see we've only got three. Remember, it's just the 2026 ones that we want to look at. So we've got 1, 2, 3 that are going to pull through those. So all those individual data flows for each parkrun event been replaced by 3. So we've now got 30 events being processed by 3 data flows, all part of managing this technical debt piece. And it streamlines further, because then when you think through in terms of my model, because I'm only pulling from 3 locations, it's much easier. Okay. There is the fourth, which is that SharePoint list that we just covered, because of course it brings that list in. This is what its frame of reference should be as well. So we've got the various New York datasets pulled together into a single dashboard. Again, to build this concept, let's build that single pane of glass reporting. All my core metrics could be available for my team on one page from lots of different areas across the business. You know, you wouldn't put your yellow taxi data with your city bike data, with the voluntary rooftop water tower inspections, which actually is getting very interesting now. If you follow the news, actually right now, bit of a Legionnaire problem. We should really try and check, see what's going on with it. But it's clear that that's something we need to consider. And this is the problem that we see time and again as we work with clients and organizations, is that mindset of we need to bring it together often misses, because people haven't understood what a scaled semantic model would look like or should look like. You know, if we're going back to here and we're seeing, here's our semantic models, and we can even go back to our parkrun model, which is here. And this was built based on the old one before it was upgraded with the new volunteer stuff, which is why we switched to the 2026 stuff, which is why that doesn't work in the dashboards. This is where the technical debt side creeps through. You know, you've got all these things to keep moving and keep aware of. So when you've then got technical debt, which is just admin work that you need to do to keep a cycle churning, you're not helping yourself. You're making your life more difficult, because suddenly you have to constantly maintain simple things. And then the more complex things, oh, this button's disappeared off the dashboard. Should this be here? What should be there? That becomes a problem. And this is where we need to start thinking about what our documentation is going to look like. How do we document what's going on? How do we pull together and understand what an improvement plan is going to look like? What does the growth cycle look like? What's our front door process like? So the business can say, oh, I'd love to see a report about what color shoes do people wear in the taxis. Oh, we don't have that information. Can we collect it? Is it ethical to collect it? Simple things like that. These are core things that we need to be thinking about. There's oftentimes we're going to get requests and it's like, well, no, we genuinely cannot do that. I've been asked to do some reports where the answer has been just no, we're not touching it. Nothing massively underhand, nothing in case where you'd say, oh, okay, that's criminal. But just if we did that, you'd be potentially violating some local labour laws or local laws. But it's, not malicious intent. But, when you ask, well, what about this? What about that? Can we do this on a demographic level? And it's like, no. It's tempting, as I say, asking to see, what's shoe colours of people riding taxis. You can kind of get the picture. I think, we need to be aware of what's going on in our organisations, and we need to be aware of analytics needs to promote the business and encourage the business to move forward. As part of that, we have to look to remove those manual steps. So my journey into Power BI, okay, I'm going to put something on that side. My journey into Power BI started with me spending hours every day just doing churn tasks. Okay, and again, I see this. This is one of the things I see regularly out doing consultancy. People I meet who, I spend 2 hours a day doing this. I spend 3 hours doing that. Every month I've got to do this. Okay, my journey, my personal journey was I was spending probably 2 hours a day just doing churn. And then it would be 3 to 4 business days at the start of the month to do the monthly report pack, plus then the additional couple of days to finally get everything ready for the board pack in the middle of the month. Okay. 6 months later, with Power BI properly embedded in the organization, my monthly report pack was ready by about 4 a.m. on the first of the month, regardless of the day of week. My weekly or my daily churn tasks were gone. Everything was automated, report pack synced, everything built, had all that done. Okay. That was a decade ago. And I still see businesses doing the same thing. Just churn. And the fear is the same. Okay. That if I remove my daily tasks, I'll get made redundant. I'll be fired. The reality is the business is paying you or was paying me to be a value add, to be a manager and actually manage data, not to be a basic entry-level clerk. And that's what I was being forced to do those jobs for. So by removing those, I was able to start to add value to the business. And what we did was we actually expanded analytics significantly. That's what will happen in your organization when you move away from those churn tasks. You can start to focus on what do these figures actually mean? What's the business outcome that we should be aiming for? What can we see that's going well with the organization? What can we see that's going badly with the organization? And most importantly, how can we fix these issues? And how can we surface the information in such a way that management teams are able to leverage those insights and develop something that's going to deliver meaningful growth and development across your organization? So, yeah, it's really important that we do these things. And technical debt is the bit that holds you back. It's that manual click here. It's that, I've got to go here, I've got to go there, I've got to do this. All those manual tasks, those are the technical debt that you have in your system. The more we can challenge and break those down and automate them, the better, more effective your analytics solution is going to be. The final thing, okay, that I want to say, the final thing around this is that technical debt involves a lot of manual steps. And because they're manual, there's a tendency to make mistakes. There's also a tendency to, should we say, no one likes to be the bearer of bad news. Okay, so slightly tweak it a little bit, change the way it's presented, do those kind of things. I've got a deep distrust for anything that's been touched by grubby human mitts now. Okay, data, that kind of thing. We want it automated from the system. We don't want someone to touch it. It needs to come and be ready to use, unsullied. Okay, so enough talk. Should we do a demo, right? So one of the things we said was we're going to fix this, didn't we? I said, oh, have a look. Do you want to should we talk about what we're going to do, how we would fix it? Yeah, let's do it. And if you remember, we wrote a data flow last week to kind of implement the fix for this or implement the refresh once we built the fix. So let's have a look at what that fix would look like. So we're going to go to Jasmine Dean Parkrun first. Okay. This is the one we want to download, isn't it? Okay. So I'll open this report pack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download this file. Okay. And I always go and download the file from online. Okay. I've got offline repositories for all these things. I know where they should be, but I've been burnt enough times where people have edited stuff online, and then when your offline copy and the online copy are different, you make your changes, you republish it. Great, you've now got this in, but you've undone some change that somebody else had done and you didn't know about it. They might change the color, and I'm not downloading it, I'll just do it online. Honestly, bane of my life, been burnt enough times. Download it. Okay, this is a full fat report, so that's where I say we're going to download the report and the data. But of course, this is a good way when you want to split your semantic model and your main visualizations. You can go through, download here, tick to download with a live connection, and now you've got a semantic model file that's separate. You can then also, in your semantic model side, you can go and download the semantic model. You've suddenly got two separate things. Okay, so it's good. You've got that. You can go in here, then delete all the pages or add a new page. Great, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to do the whole thing. It's just always going to be a simple report. Let's download it. Okay, so we're going to open that file now and see what's going on with it. So here it is. Open. What do we need to do with it? So I was thinking the simplest thing to do is we come into transform data. And that's why, as I say, when we come into here, we can see we've got all sorts of stuff being used to actually build and construct the full data model. But we can see this, the clues are here in terms of what we need. We've got raw, we've got build, we've got this stuff already happening. So the core structures are there. We just need to make some tweaks. And the nice thing to do again is we need to be thinking about technical debt. So what we want to do is kind of build a model that's going to allow us to build a model based on a variable. Okay, so in this case, we might want to say, well, we want for one event. Okay, and again, we've got the tracker. So when that event finishes, go through and do it. We know we could go with when the last event in a series that we want to look at completes, do it. So if we wanted to look at all of them from County Durham or all of them from Northumberland, we could. It's all built, it's all designed to structure that, to be worked that way. So the logical piece is, well, what do we do? So I thought through, and what we would do is we would start with, so I've lost my mouse. The logical thing is we would start with the data flow. So if we come back to here, let's, my goodness me. Okay. No, here. Yeah. Okay. So our parkrun data here, remember the 2026 flows that we've got. So if I had a look at this and said, right, let's start by looking at 2026 participation, which is here. See, all that comes through is one table. So what do we need to do for that table to work? So if I go through and I edit the tables here, see, we've not got many, okay, which is good. And we've got a transform file step, which is where it's actually reading and processing the file. So that's kind of the core. That's a really important piece that we need to have. So we need this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, well, let's Control C. Let's copy it. Okay. This is going to do some things that we probably don't want, but we'll do this actually. Okay, tell you what, let's do it the way that we would really like it to go. Okay, because if we do it that way, what will happen is it'll bring just the function through. But I think that's fine. Let's just do it this way. Actually, let's do it this way. Okay, again, because technical debt, I wouldn't want to be editing it in here, but we know as a step would be to copy the function from the data flow down into these. So it's, yeah, it's fine. We know there's an update step to do it that way. So I'm going to hit Control C on this. Okay, I'm going to come back through to my model, which is here. Transform the data. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to remove this, 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 and this. I think these are definitely the ones which we're going to lose. Potentially, actually, what we should do, should we get rid of them all? I think we should. Let's get rid of everything. Let's do that, actually, because this is probably what we would, this is probably the right way to go, actually, is remove everything. Because if we just do this, keep everything, and except stuff we don't want, then we get into some other headaches later down the line. Control V. Okay, so we can see this is brought through those various entities that go in to make this table. Okay, so this is the table we've got. This is our data table. Move this to a group. Oh. Okay, this is going to be labels. These two, I'm going to fourth. Okay. And these ones are removed. Good. Participant functions. Okay. So we've got that piece together. This will work for us now. Okay. So we can see, let's move this further up. Let's bring tables down. Okay. So what's actually going on? What do we need to do? So the core thing we need to do is we need to make sure that our location ID here is just the valid ones. So I was thinking, what should we do with this? The easiest way is here, where we've pulled through the tracked events base list. Okay, so if we refresh this, it's pull all the latest values. And I thought, well, if we just go and say we just want number 1 for here, we're going to go, well, how's that going to work? So in our SharePoint files base, what we've got going on here, so we've got, well, we're pulling through where they match this. So I thought, well, let's just go here. Let's just get rid of the nulls. Okay. So we can see it's gone where location ID is not, well, we want to change it from 1 to is not. It says not. Not null. Okay, so that's worked. So we've now got, this will pull through just Jasmine Deans. That's the idea. Okay, so we've got something that will work. This participation table should then be, this is our participation, our participants. Okay, so the next step we would need to do, so come back out from here. Let's go back to our data flow here. Let's cancel this. Let's come out of here. Right, and then we're going to do the same, but this time we want to pull the volunteers. Open the data flow here. Now, we need to be a bit cleverer with this one. So when we come into it, what you see is it's very similar structure. So we've got this volunteers, we've got the event history, and we've got the base and that. So what we really want to do is to right click on this, go to our advanced editor, and just Control A, Control C. Okay, because if I just copy and paste the table, it'll bring everything else through again, and then I'll have to remap it again, but which we don't want to do. So come back to our table here. I'm going to say new query, blank query, select everything, paste that in, next. Okay, I'm going to put that up into here. I'm going to rename this SharePoint volunteers. Okay, and because everything else should be the same, if we give this a second or so, it should come back with, here's our meaningful data set. It should come back with, here's our meaningful data set. You going to do that? Let's see, so source is SharePoint files all. Happy with that? Yep, so we've got SharePoint files all. Filtered, we've got the binary, which is what we wanted. So we filtered it down, so it's just the volunteer ones. We can get the event number. Again, from there, should have something at the end. So this should now be working, right? And I'll do the same while with that's thinking about it with the other one from here, the event history. So in here, let's go to the advanced editor, Control A, Control C, cancel. I'm going to cancel this as well. And back to here, let's go with another new query, new blank query, Control A, Control V. Oh. SharePoint, event history. Okay. So we've suddenly got something that's working. We filter that down to the event history, but again, from our source, if we come back to source, there should just be one file at this point. Filter, sorry, not to it. That's all the files. Event history filter is what I meant. Next step down, should only be one file here. Let's see, there's only one. Okay, so, and this is the one that we'll find, so that's fine. Event history, that's the right one. Okay, so it's working, isn't it? That's the key thing that we need to understand, right? This will come through, it will filter these down to the right rows, it will then build, here is our table of everything that we need. We've suddenly got something that will focus on that. If we went back to here, and we said, well, we don't just want one, we want 12, 13, 14, for example. We have those are the ones that we're going to have. If we come back to here, see this list, so it's now just going to be 12, 13, 14 that we'll see in here. So this will work very well in that it will set this up so that it's only ever going to be the right ones that are there for us. So we've gone through, haven't we? We've shown you technical debt is a problem. And you can see, as I say, even with this Jasmine Dean report that we're trying desperately hard to remove as much technical debt from, there's so much debt that is already in the system that we're now having to bring our first version almost. It's Jasmine Dean 2.0. This is going to be Jasmine Dean 3.0, isn't it? Where we've now got, this is the new way that we're going to do these things. This is the future. And it will be based on the models we've got for now. And then I'll publish it up and say we'll share it. So you should be able to see it now at the bottom to see how it's going. The core piece with this is understanding that it's not just about fixing a solution now. You need to think, what's it going to be like in 6 months, 12 months when I come back and look at it? And for me, honestly, this Jasmine D one I haven't looked at in 2 years, which is why I'm like, what was going on there? There's a lot of good in here, but it's a case of whenever you look at things after a 6 month plus gap, you're going to see things that you go, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. But these would be decisions that were taken for all the right reasons. It's not saying, oh, you were wrong. It's just saying, well, maybe now's a better way of doing it, or I've learned a bit more. I wouldn't do it this way. The solution or the situation has changed, the way it's grown, the platform has changed even. You know, all these things come together. So it's not a bad thing to reevaluate what you've done. But the important thing, what I was hoping to really land with this is we're taking time. So we're not just building a quick report quick and easy. It's really easy to point it to things, tell it to do the work, bring the data in. What we're trying to do is make it do it in such a way that I've got a couple of places to tweak in the event I've got a new one to build in the future. Because of course there's going to be a new one to build in the future. And the nice benefit that we get with this is it's all going to be contracted down to this is a specific report for just a specific thing, which is bad for business. But in the event for me, if it was a case of Sunderland say, oh, can you do something for us to look at it? Yeah, build something specifically for Sunderland. Here you go. There's not a chance that it's going to have other stuff in it, which is just, you know, because of the way it's filtered. This is definitely just that contained set of data. You will find cases like that in business. If it was a case we're fine with the filters, then just connect to the original semantic model, filter it down there and hide the filter. Works, okay? Or you can go full bore if you want and put in an RLS rule that will filter it down based on who's accessing it to this is what you're allowed to see. There's options available to you, but you have to consider what is the impact of it, okay? So Technical debt. Do we understand what it is now? Are we happy and recognize that we need to challenge ourselves and try and remove as much technical debt from our solutions as we go further forward? I hope so. For now though, stay safe, take care, ta-da.